Yeah, not today. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order at 10:03. Before we get into the full meeting agenda for the November 2023 Chicago Plan Commission meeting, I want to quickly provide guidance to those who want to provide testimony on the cases presented for public hearing today. A few of you have already submitted forms electronically, but for anyone else who may wish to testify before the Plan Commission, please fill out the sheets located on the table where you enter the room. Please include your full name, address, if you're for or against the proposal, and if you're here representing yourself or an organization. Please hand your sheets to one of the staff members. People who have completed forms will be called on after each item is presented. Thank you. Out of respect for other speakers, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please line up at the microphone behind me and to my left in the order that I call your name, and please do not repeat comments that have been made by previous speakers. The public comment portion of the meeting is not a question and answer session of the staff or the applicant, but an opportunity for attendees to voice their opinions on a particular proposal. Out of respect for others, please do not interrupt or disrupt the speakers. Any individual who disrupts the presentation or any subsequent comment session may be asked to leave the council chambers. If necessary, may be escorted out by security. We will now call the roll. Commissioner Barclay? Not here. Commissioner Carney?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Escareño? Thank you. Commissioner Flores here. Commissioner Johnson? Not here. Commissioner La Spata?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy? Thank you. Commissioner Haran? Not here. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramirez Rosa? Not here. Commissioner Reyes? Here. Thank you. Commissioner Soto? Thank you. Commissioner Sicho Lopez? Here. Commissioner Esposato? Here. Commissioner Tillman? Here. Thank you. And Commissioner Villegas? Not here. Thank you. We will now approve the minutes from the October 19, 2023 regularly scheduled Plan Commission meeting. The minutes were distributed prior to today's hearing. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission held on October 19, 2023? Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Brumfield. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Roll call vote. Commissioner Carney?
Here.
Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
For that? Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield, can you confirm? Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Escareño? Thank you. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner La Spata?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy?
Got it.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Here. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes, can you confirm? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Soto? Thank you. Commissioner Tillman? Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. Just a reminder, as we have returned to in-person hearings, we will take public comments for the items on the agenda after each item has been presented. If you have not already done so and you wish to speak on an item, please complete a testimony slip available at the back of the chamber. Staff members are available to assist if needed and will collect the forms from you. Can we call on Alderman Conway?
Oh. Is ours,
Go ahead.
Oh, yes. On our item, we are asking for a continuance to the, D1. Item D1, we're asking for a continuance to the December meeting. We just have a few issues to work out.
Go ahead.
Attorney for the applicant, we have no objection.
Great, thank you. So the applicant has requested a deferral for their item listed on the agenda today as D1. That item is a proposed amendment to residential plan development number 1320 submitted by Ani 352 Union Chicago LLC for the property generally located at 354 North Union Avenue and 357 North Halsted Street. The applicant proposes to amend plan development number 1320. The applicant seeks to add hotel as a permitted use for a maximum of 56 total keys and to amend the open space plan. No other changes to plan development number 1320 are proposed. This is item 222249 in the 34th Ward. And this item is being deferred to a date certain of Thursday, December 21st, 2023. Do I have a motion to defer this item? Motion by Commissioner Escareno. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Laspada. Roll call vote. Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Escareno? Thank you. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner Laspada? Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Okay. Abstain. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Soto? Thank you. And Commissioner Tillman? Thank you. Motion passes. Next on the agenda are matters submitted in accordance with the Interagency Planning Referral Act. Do I have a motion to approve item number C1 under the ANLAP heading and items numbered C2 through C7 under the disposition heading? Thank you, Commissioner Dowell. Do I have a second?
Second Piñeiro.
Thank you. Second motion by Commissioner Piñeiro. Roll call vote. No, I don't. Yes, I do need. Matter submitted. Okay, well, next column. Okay. Carney, Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell, can you confirm? Thank you. Commissioner Escareno?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner Laspada?
Yep.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes? Thank you. Commissioner Soto? Thank you. Commissioner Tillman? Thank you. Motion passes. Now we will move on to the public hearing presentation portion for matters submitted in accordance with the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance and or the Chicago Zoning Ordinance. A reminder that item D1 was previously deferred. The next item today is listed as D2, a proposed amendment to Residential Business Plan Development 793 submitted by Alderwoman Monique Scott of the 24th Ward for the property generally located at 3440-3456 West Roosevelt Road. The applicant is proposing the amendment to revise the plan development boundary map statements in bulk table to reduce the amount of area within the plan development so that it will only encompass the existing 8-story multifamily residential building and surface parking lot. The parcels being removed from the current plan development will be rezoned under a separate ordinance as a B3-3 Community Shopping District for those fronting Roosevelt Road, or a RT-4 Residential 2-flat townhouse and multi-unit district for those fronting Crenshaw Avenue. No new development is proposed for this item. This is item A-8846 in the 24th Ward. James Harris will provide the context overview and present the proposal plan.
The Commission, my
Good
name
morning.
is James Harris. I'm a supervising planner with the Department of Planning and Development. This item is for a boundary amendment to a residential business plan development, PD 793. The site is the home of the Roosevelt Tower Senior Housing Development. The project is generally located at 3440 to 3526 West Roosevelt Road in the 24th Ward. The applicant is Alderwoman Monique Scott. Please. This is not working.
I know.
All right. This amendment will rezone the project area from residential business plan development PD 793 to a B3-3 community shopping district along Roosevelt Road and an RT-4 residential 2-flat townhome and multi-unit district along Crenshaw, and PD 793 as amended. The rezoning will remove land from the current plan development boundaries to allow for broader redevelopment opportunities to be built as of right under the standard zoning designation. There are no new developments proposed as part of the amendment. The existing Roosevelt Tower will remain as amended under PD 793. The project is located in North Lawndale, the North Lawndale community area, which is predominantly Black community with roughly 35,000 residents as of the 2020 census. The PD consists of roughly 2.25 acres in that site area with frontage along Roosevelt Road and Crenshaw Street. It is bisected by St. Louis Avenue. The only improvement within the PD are the senior housing towers and accessory parking lot. The zoning map shows the current boundaries of the plan development, which includes vacant land west of St. Louis. The orange hash lines indicate city-owned property. And as you can see, the majority of the property west of St. Louis is city-owned. The context plan shows the context plan shows the surrounding features of the area, such as the large Lawndale Plaza shopping center to the east, the historic Central Park Theater building on the south side of Roosevelt, and the Holman Square development a few blocks to the north, which is the former Sears campus. The Roosevelt Tower development is 8 stories in height with 126 senior apartments. The accessory parking is located both in the rear of the building and across the alley. The original plan for the PD included 2 buildings. One which you can see here is constructed on the east side of St. Louis, and a future phase to the west along Roosevelt. These images show the existing Roosevelt Tower building and the vacant lot where the second building was planned for construction. Since it's been roughly 20 years since the first Roosevelt Tower was built, the Alderwoman and DPD felt it beneficial to remove the existing vacant land from PD 793 and rezone these parcels to be consistent with the surrounding zoning context. Therefore, the parcels west of St. Louis that front Crenshaw will return to RT4. The parcels west of St. Louis that front Roosevelt will return to B3-3. This action will remove some of the land restrictions in the current PD, which do not allow for common uses such as retail and restaurants, and allow the developer to pursue projects by right rather than requesting an amendment to the PD. This slide shows the revised PD boundaries, which would now only encompass the parcels east of St. Louis devoted to senior housing, and a surface parking lot. The PD would be reduced from the current net site area of 2.25 to 0.9 acres. Here you can see the revised site plan for the plan development. One of the factors that motivated this application for an amendment is a proposal for a new restaurant on city-owned land on Roosevelt called Elbows Barbecue. The applicant received a Neighborhood Opportunity Fund grant. Under the current regulations, it would not be allowed. So we are looking to remove that property to allow that development under the B3 zoning designation. Here's a timeline. So the applicant was awarded a Neighborhood Opportunity Fund grant in May of 2023. We met with the Roosevelt Tower developer and landowners and Alderwoman Scott in August, and we introduced this amendment to the plan development in September. Therefore, DPD recommends approval of the zoning map amendment to rezone the site from PD 793 to B3-3 Community Shopping District, RT4 Residential 2-Flat Townhome Multifamily District, and PD 793 as amended. After reviewing application materials and analyzing the application with respect to the factors addressed in the previous slide, DPD recommends approval for the zoning map amendment for the following reasons. The amendment would encourage unified planning and development. It would promote economically beneficial development patterns that are compatible with the character of the existing neighborhood. And it would reinforce desirable urban features found within the surrounding area, create seamless and gradual transitions in bulk and scale with high intensity development, which occurs in and around areas with lower intensity character. It is the recommendation of the Department of Planning and Development that the application for a zoning map amendment for this development be approved and recommended for passage to the City Council. And that concludes the presentation.
And I believe we have a letter on file from the alderman.
Yes.
We do, and then just one clarification for the committee members. So the only action being voted on here today is the amendment of the red boundary from PD 793 to the reduced amendment of, to the reduced PD 793 as amended. The other two accompanying actions for the green area and the blue area will take part in the Committee on Zoning. They don't involve plan development designations. So those will happen concurrently with this application at the Committee on Zoning at the next hearing. And then Commissioner Murphy.
Yes, James, could you just go over the different ownerships of the various parcels? What all is city owned and not?
Yeah, if we can go back to the zoning map. So everything except for the orange hash marks are owned by the current developer, which is related East Lake. And the city owns all of the parcels in orange, and we're currently looking to convey the land along Roosevelt to the owner of the Elbows Barbecue site.
And just to add, the remaining plan development designation is under single ownership control with the senior housing building, it's just East Lake Management. They own that east parcel in its entirety.
Commissioner Laspata?
Thank you so much. James, thank you very much for the presentation this morning, number one. Two quick questions. Number one, maybe this is just for my own education. I was under the impression that plan developments expire after a certain term. It's confusing to me to see a plan development that has carried over since 2001. Can you lend more context to that?
I believe that they need to be, when they expire, there needs to be legislative action to return them to the previous zoning designation, but I'll defer to.
Note for the record, Noah Safranik. I'll add to that, Alderman. So when you set up a plan development, there are actions that vest that plan development. This was a multi-phase plan development. The zoning designation was vested once the first tower was constructed. The fact that nothing has happened over the last 20 years is the reason this legislative action is being taken today to remove all the vacant parcel that has no intentions of being developed for what it was originally to be developed for out of the PD, restore it to its original zoning designations that are consistent with the surrounding area, and then allow for future development. If or when any of that future development were to re-trigger a planned development, we'd be back here, or they would build under the allowed zoning designation.
Got it. Appreciate it, sir. Could we go back to the slide that shows city-owned land versus non-city-owned land?
I think the zoning slide. Other way. There we go.
Yes, thank you. So my impression, and tell me if I'm reading this wrong, is that the barbecue that's being proposed, Elbows Barbecue, is going to be built on city-owned land. Is that
That's
an
correct,
accurate
yes.
reading?
So, the westernmost parcels along Roosevelt are going to be conveyed to the owner of Elbows. And the thought is we recently awarded another restaurant, Soleil, a NOF grant.
Yeah.
So we're looking to cultivate a restaurant row along Roosevelt.
Oh, fantastic. They have a location in the former boundaries of the
That's
first
correct,
ward as
yep.
well. I guess my question then was, looking at the parcels that are just east of where the restaurant will be, is there intention for the upkeep of that land? Because I feel like if I was opening a restaurant next to a quarter acre of vacant land, that could be detrimental for my customers and my success. What is the plan between East Lake and the city for the maintenance of that land?
So for the privately owned parcel, Eastlake would be required to maintain that property. And for the property that we own, the Department of Asset Information Systems typically maintains those lots.
Okay. Any further questions feel like they're outside of my purview, but I appreciate you answering those questions. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. James, is there a photo of the existing condition of those lots for the
Believe so.
context? Okay. Is
Yeah,
there,
so, yep, this is it here. So as you can see, Roosevelt Tower on the right, and then the vacant lots here on the left.
okay. So they're green now? Or,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, Commissioner Reyes?
So a question, I'm sorry, but so these PDs being amended even though we have different property owners?
Yeah, so we received permission from the property owner, and the alderwoman is sponsoring this application. So that's how we were able to move forward with this amendment.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Dowell?
Are you the planner for that area?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on with the Lawndale Retail Plaza? I'm familiar with this community. What's the health of that plaza?
With North Lawndale Employment Network.
The plaza, the retail, the shopping where the old movie theater is, the grocery store. What's going on there?
I honestly, I think that that's something that we've been having discussions with the alderwoman about, but there hasn't really been any movement in terms of, I know that there's interest in re-tenanting the cinema. There has been discussions around that, but that's an ongoing discussions that we're having with the alderwoman.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commissioners?
Yep.
Yeah, Commissioner Lyons?
Thank you. Just to confirm, the parcel that we're we're gonna exclude, correct, from the PD boundary?
Right, so we're removing those parcels.
But that parcel that's being removed, is that where the restaurant is going, or is that?
Right, yes.
Okay,
Yep. So on the zoning map, those orange parcels that are furthest to the west, those will be conveyed to the restaurant owner for Elbows Barbecue.
You need to see a slide or you're?
do you have I'm sorry, could you point out if there's a map of the PD as it currently is? That, or the boundaries?
Clickers.
I need you, Noah. There is a map of the current boundaries.
The first line. Is it this one? Yeah, that one. That one's the existing.
So we're excluding this.
That's all we've been. excluded, because it's a parking lot, senior housing. And it's not changing, and then they're putting
So we're gonna exclude it.
along the street.
Right.
So we're gonna exclude all.
So generally speaking, this is the outline of the plan development. So it encompasses everything in blue, green, and red, and this is how we're breaking out the parcels. So the red will remain PD 793.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna return the blue portion back to RT4 and the green portion to B3-3.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments by the commissioners? No. No, are we still reading the letter from Alderwoman Scott or? Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so if there's no more questions or comments, I'll go ahead and call for a motion on this item. Thank you. Let me read the motion. Thank you. Do I have a motion on a proposed amendment to residential business plan development 793 submitted by Alderwoman Monique Scott of the 24th Ward for the property generally located at 3440-3456 West Roosevelt Road, finding that it meets the requirements for approval. Motion by Commissioner Lasfata. Do I have a second? Thank you. Second motion by Commissioner Escareño. Roll call vote. Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Escareño? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner La Espada? Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy? Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Soto? Thank you. And Commissioner Tillman? Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. The last item today is listed as D3, a proposed residential business plan development submitted by the applicant Thrive Exchange LLC for the property located at 7901-11 South Exchange Avenue, 2933-41 East 79th Street, 7850-72 South Exchange Avenue, 2908-30 East 79th Street, 7839-45 South Scanava Avenue. The applicant is proposing to rezone the site from C1-2 Neighborhood Commercial District, B3-2 Community Shopping District, and RT-4 Residential 2-Flat Townhouse and Multi-Unit District to C1-3 Neighborhood Commercial District, and then to a residential business plan development with underline C1-3 Neighborhood Commercial District. The proposed residential business plan development will consist of two sub-areas, sub-area A and sub-area B. The applicant proposes to construct a new 6-story mixed-use, 43-unit affordable housing building in sub-area A as the initial phase. Sub-area B as the second phase will consist of a mixed-use affordable housing building to be constructed at a future date. This is item number 22250, and this is in the 7th Ward. Yang D. Wong will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Good morning, Chairwoman and Commissioners. For the record,
morning.
my name is Yang Di Wang, an urban designer with Department of Planning and Development. This proposed development is generally located at 7901 South Exchange Avenue and is located within the South Chicago community area and the South Shore community area within the 7th Ward. The applicant, Thrive Exchange LLC, and their development team appear here today for the purposes of establishing a residential business planned development at the subject site. The proposed project is located in the South Chicago community area and South Shore community area. The South Chicago neighborhood has a population of 27,300 with a median income of $40,004. The South Shore neighborhood has a population of 53,971 with a median income of $38,020. Next, please. The population of South Shore peaked in 1930 at nearly 57,000 and remained above 50,000 until 1960. It was home to U.S. Steel's Southworks, a 500-acre manufacturing site that, at its height in the mid-20th century, employed more than 20,000 workers. The population of South Shore peaked in 1950 at 79,000. It has long been a formerly middle-class African-American neighborhood with cultural landmarks, including the South Shore Cultural Center. The proposed development is located at the intersection of East 79th Street and South Exchange Avenue, consisting of two suburbs, Suburb A and Suburb B. Suburb A is located at the southwestern corner of the intersection, while Suburb B is at the northwest corner of East 79th Street and South Exchange Avenue. The site is directly across the street from the Metro Electric Line's Cheltenham Station. It's also within the Bradwell School District and the Chicago Vocational High School District. This illustrates the site's context plan. The site is less than a half mile from the lakefront and the Rainbow Beach and Park. There are many retail and neighborhood commercial amenities nearby, including the recent open Urban Lux Cafe, Midwest True Value Hardware and Paint, Star Plaza Retail Center, U-Haul Neighborhood Dealer and South Shore Food Mart. Other nearby community anchors and businesses include the Corey Event Center at 75th Street, South Shore Hospital, Senior Suite of Rainbow Beach, and the Christ Bible Church. The subject property is a transit-served location. It's 52 feet from the property line of Suburb A to the Chatham Metro Electric Station entrance, and 82 feet from the property line of Suburb B to the Chatham Metro Station entrance. The site is also served by the 79th Street bus corridor located within 29 feet of the subject property. The site is currently in C1-2 Neighborhood Commercial District, B3-2 Community Shopping District, and RT4 Residential 2-flat, Townhouse and Multi-Unit District. It will be unified under a C1-3 Neighborhood Commercial District prior to establishing a residential business planned development. Per zoning ordinance section 17-8-0600A, this is an elective planned development. The surrounding land uses of the site are primarily residential and commercial. The existing 3-story Ringer building adjacent to the south boundary of Suburb A will be rehabbed into a health center. The vacant land on the west side of South Exchange Avenue will be developed with market rate condos. This slide illustrates the existing aerial view of the site looking northwest. In Suburb A, there is an existing 2-story vacant building and a few trees in the backyard. In Suburb B, there are 3 vacant buildings, including a 2-story mixed-use building with a small paved parking lot, as well as 2 single-story commercial buildings. Suburb A will be improved with a 6-story mixed-use affordable housing building as the initial phase. Suburb B, the second phase of the proposed development, will be improved with a mixed-use affordable residential building consisting of uses and units mix similar to those of Thrive Exchange South in Suburb A. The potential development of Suburb B will be subject to site plan approval by DPD. Next slide, please. Okay. This slide illustrates the existing view and the rendering of the proposed street context looking from 79th Street towards the southeast at Suburb A. The site is in a pedestrian-friendly area. The proposed building in Suburb A is expected to enhance the pedestrian experience. These are the existing view and the rendering of the proposed street context looking from the metro tracks towards the southwest. The proposed retail space and plaza face the metro station, providing a welcoming and comfortable pedestrian experience. These are the existing view and the rendering of the proposed street context looking from South Exchange Avenue towards the north. The planning context includes the South Shore Quality of Life Plan and My Metro, Our Future 2023 to 2027 Strategic Plan. The South Shore Quality of Life Plan was published in 2022. The plan identifies 8 primary aspects of community rebuilding essential to the successful realization of the vision outlined herein: resident engagement, economic development, education, housing, community stewardship, beautification, health and wellness, arts, culture and entertainment, and public safety. My Metro strategic plan was published in February 2023. There are 5 strategic goals: enhance service to grow ridership and provide mobility choice, make the Metro experience safe, easy, and enjoyable for all our customers, attract a diverse workforce and invest in our employees, innovate to become more efficient and effective, be a socially responsible organization committed to equity and sustainability. Now, I would like to turn the presentation over to Ms. Sylvia Mitras with the applicant team to introduce the project timeline and subsequent slides.
Thank you, Yang-Di, and thank you and good morning, Chairman and members of the Plan Commission. For the record, my name is Sylvia Mikas. I'm an attorney with the Taft Law Firm, along with my co-counsel, Graham Grady, in absentia. We represent the applicant here today, Thrive Exchange LLC. Also here with me today are representatives of the applicant. First, Leanne Walker, the managing partner of DL3 Realty, Andrew Stables, Senior Development Manager of DL3 Realty, and Ashlyn Williams, our project architect from Ku Architecture. As Yang-Di mentioned, we are seeking to go forward with a 2-phase development. Andrew, would you be able to go back to slide 14 just quickly? Sorry. Thank you. As Yang-Di mentioned, the initial phase is phase 1, which is the new 6-story mixed-use building, which will contain retail use on the first floor, as well as office space to be occupied by the Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, along with a bike room and lobby. The second floor will contain a residential lounge, fitness center, roof deck, and 7 dwelling units, with the 3rd to 6th floors containing the remaining 36 dwelling units. We will also have a plaza, and the zoning height is at 74 feet 4 inches. This is a TSL location, as Yang-Di mentioned. In order to proceed forward with this project, the applicant is seeking a zoning amendment to rezone the property from the existing RT4, B32, and C1-2 zoning districts to a residential business plan development with an underlying C13 district. Apologize, Andrew. Do you mind going to slide 16? Thank you. As reflected on this slide, the applicant has conducted extensive community outreach over the last few years. Applicant's efforts began in September 2021 when it held a virtual presentation to the community. Such meeting was followed by the 79th Street 7th Ward Council breakfast and 7th Ward Council meeting in the first half of 2022. Most recent events include the Thrive Exchange Community Celebration and Info Session Dinner held in August 2022, and 7th Ward Community Ward meeting held this past August 2023. Significant additional outreach has been occurring in between these events, as well as the use of a project website. The applicant has worked diligently with DPD, DOH, as well as city agencies, including CDOT. We would also like to thank all members of those departments for their assistance through these last few years. As a result of such collaboration, applicant revised its plans to include enhanced activation of ground floor uses, as well as introduced street calming measures, including curb bump outs on Exchange near pedestrian crosswalks, widening portions of sidewalk along South Exchange on the east, and continued coordination with CDOT on future streetscape improvements on 79th Street. As a result of such efforts, the applicant has secured letters of support from Alderman Greg Mitchell, as well as Metra, South Shore Chamber of Commerce, and local resident Jared Slaughter. And also, we would like to thank Alderman Mitchell for his continued assistance and cooperation regarding this exciting new development. With this, I'm going to turn the presentation over to our project architect, Ashlyn Williams of Coup Architecture. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. As she said, my name is Ashlyn Williams. I am an architect at Coup, and I will be presenting the design a little more thoroughly for you. As we've seen a few times, this is the building looking southwest. This is the view that you'll get from the Metra, that plaza that's really going to be the first sign that the site is reactivated. And here in plan, you can see how the building is positioned to bisect the site, creating that plaza on the northeast side that serves the retail areas, and then the open area space on the southwest side, which is a bioswale that will help us meet the stormwater requirements for the site. Due to the project being a project transit served location, you'll note that on the very compact site, we do not have on-site parking, and that is satisfied through the fact that we have 100% affordable residences in site. Moving inside the building, on the left, we have the first floor. You'll see on the first half, the northeast half rather, we're looking at retail tenant space, and then an NHS office, which is going to be housed here on the ground floor to serve the community. And then the southwest side and the south end of the building are resident spaces, administrative spaces, the lounge, bike room, and then back of house. On the right rather, you'll see the second floor, which is where we get into the units and the tenant amenity spaces. There is a lounge, a fitness area, and then a second floor tenant deck that is accessible from the lounge and the fitness areas. This is our typical floor plate for 3 through 6. In that space where the amenity areas were on level 2, you'll note that we have a 2-bedroom and a studio, and this is the mix that goes up through the top level to round out that 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and studio mix. And the roof here, we have VRF units, space for future mechanical, and about 40% of the roof plan is occupied by green roof. And getting into the elevations, you'll note that the building is masonry with punched openings. There are also areas of bay windows and ribbon windows to articulate the facade. At the ground level, it's been referenced a few times. We have this activated archways and storefront that really provides a enhanced pedestrian experience where you can see activities going on inside the building. You can also see here in context how our building abuts the historic Ringer building that is adjacent and offsite. Here is our elevation from the Metra side, look on the northeast side, and that plaza again at the ground level with open storefront. And you can see that second level amenity deck overlooking the plaza. Here's some building sections for reference on how those spaces are organized inside. This is longitudinal. And then next we'll see the transverse building section. And then just for general reference, here are some typical facade sections where you're going to see the different ground conditions, where we have a larger overhang on the plaza side, a smaller step back on some of the storefront areas, and then areas where we have masonry and coming down to grade rather, the section there as well. And just giving you some more in-depth looks at these elevations. Here you see looking east from essentially what would be Star Plaza. Not essentially, it is Star Plaza. You'll see those ribbon windows and the bay windows sort of articulating the facade, and then punched openings. We're looking at We're looking at a warm brick mix, and then alongside those punched openings, and then at the bay windows, a metal panel articulation to sort of enhance and highlight those openings and provide some rhythm and interest to the facade. And you'll see down here in these contextual images where we're pulling sort of these arch openings that you see at grade on the storefront. That's pulled from or referencing the Ringer building adjacent, and then the color palette, the warm brick and the metal panel really draws from the surrounding community to put this building in context. And getting into sort of the compliance, you'll see that the site does comply with transportation, traffic, and parking requirements. It was top of mind to design this building to promote safe and efficient circulation. So as mentioned, we have these widened pedestrian right-of-ways and bump outs to enhance traffic calming. We are immediately adjacent to the Metro, and there's also CTA service in the area. So there's direct access to transit. The site is minimally sloped. There's no stepped entry, so it's highly accessible. And then we are also looking at sort of, again, highlighting our pedestrian focus enhancements. That's these arch openings that reference the Ringer building adjacent, pedestrian entries from the plaza to engage and sort of interface with the Metro traffic and draw in visitors, in addition to making it a welcoming space for the residents. And again, just sort of creating a sense of engagement and activity by having that open storefront wrapping the grade level. And then circling back to that open space, again, we are handling the bioswale, the stormwater through a bioswale approach, and that is going to be all of that open space on the southwest of the building. It's an engineered soil media, and then on the northeast side, excuse me, again, that plaza that is going to sort of serve the community and the retail spaces. To meet the sustainability requirements in this sustainable development policy, the project will be pursuing enterprise green communities, and then that is going to be the first 80 points. And then from there, we'll be going for working landscapes, indoor water use reduction, and then the proximity to transit service will be the final 5 points. And again, this is sort of just highlighting that we will fully comply with the stormwater requirements, that bioswale treatment and the green roof in combination sort of allow us to meet that requirement in a sustainable and sort of way that adds benefit to the design and site. And the building is fully affordable and fully complies with the AR rules and is designed to meet all of the standards. And then I will pass it to Leon to speak to the economic and community benefits.
Good morning, Commissioners and Chairman Dow. Really good to see you this morning and I'll talk about this exciting project. This is home base for me. Grew up in the South Shore community very early on. My mom and dad were Chicago public school teachers who struck out and started a business in this area at 71st and Stony Island. where there today is a sign, right where the Emmett Till sign is, honoring my father who passed away in March of 2000. And so it's really an honor for me to come back and to a neighborhood that we grew up in to bring a transformational project such as Thrive Exchange. This is a large investment, a catalytic investment next to a Metra train stop. And we're really proud about the architectural design and all the features. Been really a pleasure to work with the Department of Planning and Development, Yang D and Lisa Washington, as well as DOH and CDOT. It's been truly a team effort to get us this far. And we are even thinking forward in the future in terms of Greg Mitchell's plans for the ward. Alderman Mitchell's been a terrific not only support, but visionary in terms of how to change an intersection that has been long troubled. So this intersection, you may recall, about a year and a half ago, there were a number of shots that rang out right at the store and the strip mall across the street from this site. And I can remember, it was all in the headlines and people were saying, Leon, are you still moving forward with this project? And, I did take a pause and said, wow, over 70 gunshots across the street from where we want to construct new housing, that would give anyone a pause. But we are committed to this. And I said, yes, we are moving forward. And even since that time, we've gone through an extensive process with the Pritzker Traubert Foundation and, did not win the first place prize, but got the commendation and got some support from them for the overall efforts in this plan. That process, though, the Pritzker Traubert process was one that allowed us to engage the community. And for that, we got over 22, 23 support letters from local organizations. As you may or may not be aware, South Shore, South Chicago, 79th Street is actually the dividing line between those two proud historic communities. And it really was good to bring so many folks together around a vision that would be transformational. You need investment to change things. And, it takes this kind of large scale investment to really make an impact. And the idea is not only just to put a building in the middle of a neighborhood that's been long suffering, but to draw additional investment to the surrounding community. There has not been a new family housing building built in 75 years. How do you, continue to move a community forward and to stay current and continue to attract the working families that are so vital to the fabric of a neighborhood if you do not, continue to deliver a product that is attractive to those families? So this is part of that effort. One building cannot solve all the ills and challenges that a neighborhood suffers from, and certainly over the last 50 years, but we're starting the process. And it's more than one building. We're planning more than one building, but we're starting with this one here. And it's a road. It's a roadmap and it's a road. And so I hope that this investment is important for DL3 and our entire team, but I hope the city of Chicago, I know we've had the support of all the different various departments, but I hope this commission can also see the value of making catalytic investments that can draw additional investment into the neighborhood. With that, I'll take any questions or for our team, and I just ask for your support today. Thank you.
For the record, again, my name is Yang Di Wang with the Department of Planning and Development. The Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the project materials submitted by the applicant and compared the proposal to the requirements of the Chicago zoning ordinance and other developments in the community. Based on the entirety of the department's analysis, DPD has concluded that this proposal is appropriate for this site and supports this development for the following reasons. First, The proposed rezoning of the subject property is appropriate under Chapter 17-13 of the zoning ordinance. Specifically, the proposed planned development zoning classification and/or the project is first, appropriate because of growth and development trends. Second, compatible with the character of the surrounding area in terms of uses, density, and building scale. Third, compatible with the surrounding zoning districts. Second, the project meets the purpose and criteria set forth in Chapter 17-8 of the zoning ordinance, and its adoption will not have any adverse impact on the public's health, safety, or welfare. Specifically, the project meets the following provisions of Chapter 17-8. The project is in strict compliance with the underlying FAR standards of the C1-3 zoning designation and is in substantial compliance with the other development control standards of the C1-3 zoning designation. B, the project is consistent with the Avalon Park South Shore Tax Increment of Financing District Plan, including the proposed use of the subject site. C, the project contributes to positive urban design and a pedestrian-oriented environment by promoting a more active and vibrant public realm and creating attractive walkways and pedestrian routes. D, all sides and areas of the building that are visible to the public are treated with materials, finishes, and architectural details that are of high quality and appropriate for use on primary street-facing facade. E, the project provides adequate, inviting, usable, and accessible open spaces for residents and provides substantial landscaping of the open areas on the site, as demonstrated by the project's retail plaza, planted bellswell, landscaping, and trees along the pedestrian walkways. The proposed planned development promotes economically beneficial development patterns that are compatible with the character of existing neighborhood, as evidenced by the design of the project and the fact that the proposed design and the proposed uses are in context with the character of the adjacent properties and will meet the needs of the immediate community. This project promotes transit, pedestrian, and bicycle use, ensures accessibility for persons with disabilities, and minimizes conflicts with existing traffic patterns in the vicinity, as evidenced through the site's proximity to public transit, bicycle facilities, and accessible pedestrian network. Please refer to my staff report for further details regarding this project and the plans identified here today. Based on the foregoing, it's a recommendation of the zoning administrator of the Department of Planning and Development that this application to establish a residential business planned development be approved and forwarded to the City Council Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards as such. DPD staff and representatives from the applicant team are here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Yandi, and the whole team for the presentation. We do have one speaker signed up to speak, and that is Mr. Butler Adams, and he's for the proposal.
Yes, for the record, my name is Butler Adams. I was not going to speak for this project at all because I wasn't familiar with it. The project I was going to speak for got deferred, but I'm not that far from this area. I'm kind of familiar with it, and I used to go to Rainbow Beach when I was a kid, so I'm familiar with the area. It's a nice project. It's decent. There's a lot of vacant land around there, so I'm glad to see some development happening over there. From looking at some of the images and renderings, I do think there's kind of an older building on site, and I hope that we can do a better job of preserving some of the older buildings in the area, especially if you're gonna have a phase 2. If you have more vacant land for the phase 2, build up on that vacant land and kind of save the older buildings. There are some taller structures just to the east along the lakefront, so if you have taller buildings along the tracks in that area, I don't think that would be a big issue. I'm glad to see more mid-rises and a lot of density come to the south side and some of the neighborhoods because that had been overlooked in previous administrations. So I'm glad to see that happening now. Also, I do think that there should be a way for the city to talk to Metro about making that Metro Electric more frequent, more like a CTA line, so there's more back and forth towards downtown, because right now the frequency over there it's not that much. And if you want to build up density and have equitable transportation as well, maybe talk to Metro about having more trains in that area to build more density along 71st as well and along those tracks. But for this project, I'm looking forward to it. And for phase two, again, I hope you can preserve some of the older buildings that are already on that site and just go up. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. I think I'll go on to the commissioner's comments and questions. Commissioner Brumfield, you wanted to say something on this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. It's good to see another Invest Southwest effort taking the next step toward implementation. I know these deals are not easy. And despite some of the events, Mr. Walker, that you mentioned, we know that there's other challenges that you face as a developer trying to move these efforts forward. So just want to thank you for your commitment. Second, I know that this project came before the Committee on Design well over a year ago. And I actually thought that was a fairly strong design then. And I really appreciate what Koo Architects have done with the improvements that you made to the buildings. You did it in a very sensitive way, not overdoing it, particularly the base of the building, I think is a lot stronger, particularly along the rail track side. So I at least wanted to call you out for that, for improving and not overdoing what I thought was a fairly good design. But one thing I would like to see come back that we saw in, I think, your proposal and even some of the last efforts that were shown in front of the Committee of Design was the public realm, particularly that corner and the role of public art and trying to express the community in a different and more spiritual way, which I think is not only important in terms of what it means to the spirit of the community, but I actually think that public art could really serve as another element to help solve some of the traffic calming at 79th. So I would hope that there would be some additional thought and some advancement working with CDOT to really, and also, of course, the community, particularly the local artists who are there and have a presence, to really bring that back to really kind of enhance the work that you're already doing.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Dowell?
Yeah, I just wanted to build, that's a great point, Andre. I have seen some buildings on the south side where they've actually drawn murals on the buildings, which gives the building more life at the pedestrian level. And I'm just looking at the entrance there, that little column, that big column, that might be a good place for a mural. That's wanted to ask the question, do you have ADA apartments in this facility?
Yes, we do. We are,
Yeah, can you state your name again? Thank you.
yes, hi, Ashlyn Williams with Koo. Yes, the project has a distribution of ADA units, both location and mix and type. So of each type, there are ADA units.
Okay, and then the only other question I have, and I heard Andre or someone say about the, was it Nelson, the lack of movement on the metro tracks. If you are anticipating more movement, do you have soundproofing?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So that is a consideration that we have made and have incorporated into the design, is enhanced acoustic sensitivity on the windows, on the metro facing side, up to the, yeah.
Great. Well, you continue to invest in the city of Chicago, and we thank you for your work.
Thank you so much. Leon Walker again, DL3 Realty. Just wanted to address a couple of comments, and I thank the neighbor for stepping up and making a comment that's really encouraging. And we've gotten those kinds of encouraging moments, and you need that. And so to your public art comment, we are fully committed to public art. We've engaged the Chicago Public Arts Group in community conversations around how do you bring a culturally and neighborhood sensitive project and at the same time lifting up some local artists. We did a large sculpture with our Jewel Osco project with Bernard Williams, that is the Wonder of Woodlawn. We also did a large mural at our Friend Health Project. We've done paintings and other things at all of our projects. So we were supporting that, and there's some opportunities here. We didn't want to show that at this stage of the process, but the south side face of the building has a wonderful opportunity, we think, for art as it extends above the adjacent Ringer building, the historic Ringer building, by the way, that we're working diligently with Chicago Family Health to renovate and bring as a health center. So yes, public art will be a part of it. CDOT is certainly in the conversation, and we want to advance those. We appreciate that comment. I hope that rings true with, we'll be able to reinforce that with CDOT, with our notions about traffic calming, and maybe even some additional measures to make the intersection safer for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Commissioner La Espada?
Thank you very much. It is genuinely a gorgeous building. Like, this is more interesting in terms of architecture than honestly a lot of what I find submitted through my office. So my hat's really off to you. It makes such great use of the transit served location concept. One thing I was not familiar with was the enterprise green communities designation that counts towards 80 of the points. Could someone on the DPD side speak more into what that entails? Or
Design, it's probably more design.
yes.
I can speak a little to it. It is again, Ashlyn Williams with COO. So the Enterprise Green Communities program is a program that serves residential, and it's, I think, largely residential and affordable projects. And so there is a large portion of the credits that goes to sort of, there's certainly the design side, which includes efficient systems and sort of water use reduction and things of that nature. And then there are also sort of management facing sides, working with the tenants and providing services for the tenants, providing resources for the tenants, ongoing operations of the building. So it's a combination of both, specifically sort of designed for enhance these kind of projects. So the project will pursue Energy Star rating as part of the Enterprise Green Communities program. So it's sort of a mix of approaches to sustainability that is, I think, really targeted at affordable projects.
I think I'm getting it. So it's kind of we're combining the goals of environmental equity with equitable services for our residents. They get rolled in together and I saw that it's only applicable for affordable developments. Is that accurate?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fascinating. Sorry to go on about it, but I did not encountered it before, and I think I'm only about 4 meetings deep to working with y'all, so I appreciate the patience. I was curious, because I know traffic impact studies are relatively new with CDOT. Was there a traffic impact study submitted for this project, and is there a way for that to be forwarded to commissioners?
No, there was not traffic.
Yes, sorry.
Sylvia Micus with Taft Law. There was not a traffic study. There was a travel demand management memo that was submitted.
Okay, would it be, Noah's hand is up.
Yeah, Sylvia, if you send that to me again, we'll distribute it through us to the plan commissioners.
Great, not a problem. Thank you.
I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. My only other question is, I understand all the reasons why we're focusing on sub-area A here. Can somebody talk about, in the interim, when we're focused here, what does the upkeep of the property at sub-area B look like? The map that we see on Google Street View implies that it's 2-story mixed use, vacant commercial at the moment.
Thank you, Alderman High, Leon Walker, DL3. It's, first of all, I just want to thank you for the comment about the design. Oftentimes we are dealing with historic images and actually trauma around what affordable housing looks like. So when you see affordable housing coming to a neighborhood that's lived with a lot of lower income concentration, they don't see this as workforce. They don't see this as a project to really attract and keep those nurses, those teachers, those professional services folks that want to stay in a community near relatives or others, but don't have an option. So the idea here is to give them that option. It's 43 units is saying, hey, you can be even on a metro line that, and it does have, frequent, not maybe as frequent as we would like, but it certainly has stops throughout the day. And you can get downtown within 20 minutes. And so it's a convenient location, and the building is designed to attract that kind of working family unit. So thank you for that. In terms of sub-area A, we actually went ahead and the owner is still the owner of the north side and we own the south side with one parcel that the city owns. And so they've consented. We have that under contract. And so that is a conversation. Building's just being preserved in place as is. We've done an extensive amount of investigation and surveys and studies, structural, environmental, and we're re-looking at what the best way to develop that site is. We're trying to see, if there is a way to continue to incorporate some of the existing buildings there, but there's some structural issues that may prevent that from happening. So it's just being maintained right now. It's in a board up condition, but the idea is that the site would be either addressed from an artistic standpoint once the new building goes up. But our hope really is that we will have another plan coming back to you for approval.
Awesome.
To move forward a new building at that location before this building is built. So this building, still, even we get in construction in 24, we're talking late 25, early 26. So that's giving us some time to come back to you with a new revised proposal for the north side.
Thank you for sharing that. It's really exciting. And I will say, when you spoke up here, I think you said no multifamily new development in this area in 75 years. Did I hear that right?
It's a draw dropper.
You know what? And it causes me, and hopefully for a lot of my colleagues who represent Northside communities, to check our privilege a little bit, to understand the way development sometimes washes over our community. And it's a problem in a different way sometimes. But to hear that, what you said, it makes me commend that much more the courage and the vision that it takes to bring a project like this forward. So I'm really grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I give to your colleague, Alderman Mitchell, for his vision for this and seeing that we really have to have not a one building solution. It has to be a larger vision here. And remember, this is just 2 blocks west of the USX site. So as there's, continued interest in that development, they look to this investment, which in total could be $100 million. How does that catalyze and give, encouragement to others that might invest billions? So this is the process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, truly a challenge and an opportunity at the same time, right? My question is, there's no 3 bedrooms. So is a market study indicated that there's no need for 3 bedrooms? I know in the world of affordable rental housing, 3 bedrooms still are the type of units that families need.
Yeah, I appreciate the comment, and we have a building that's under construction right now in the Woodlawn community where we, and the Inglewood community where we're intentional about including 3 bedrooms. This was part of the conversation, not only with the alderman, but the community. There is, with these older, World War II era buildings, there's a lot of that, what we call family housing. That 3 bedroom or larger unit that exists in this community. What has been lacking is the 1 and 2 bedrooms of the quality to retain the professionals. The idea here really is not to displace the sort of existing housing that's there for folks that provide some affordable options, not necessarily ones that are as elevated in design or as current in some environmental concerns that we all have, lead, so forth. But it is to try to get people to stay in the community. So it was mentioned earlier by Yang Di that there's a co-developer that is working on the vacant lots just to the west of this project, where their plan is to build 3-bedroom condo units, 24 of them. And it's on vacant land just south of the retail center. But they can't really get going until we get going, because no one's going to buy that kind of unit on a block that is largely, vacant and distressed. So what we're doing is we're leading with a project that can be financed, that can meet where the market is today. Because most of these use, even at a 60% AMI, it's actually higher than the average rent for the comparable unit in the market. And that was something we really had to share with the community, because they're looking at $1,200 rents. If this building were built without the subsidies that the program provides, these are $3,000 or $4,000 a month units built anywhere else in the city. So with the level of finish, the quality of the construction, and the amenities that are provided, that's what we have to do. And it's get people to understand that these projects, are providing an affordable unit at a far discount from what it would be if it was just produced on the market rate basis. But we can attract then those families, those professionals that can become the homeowners of the next phase. And so that's the plan.
Okay, I appreciate that clarification, because I think it's important that when the market doesn't call for a 3-bedroom, then that we're clear enough to say it, because I know that in the world of affordable rental housing, there is a strong group of advocates that I'm always asking for large units, right? Well, people also need to confront the reality of the numbers, and we don't see large families anymore. So that was my intentional asking that question.
Great point.
Because
Thank
I think that it's important that we need to convince ourselves that the market is changing, right? Now, I know 100% affordable, and I only saw 60% AMI. What is the breakdown of the rents? Are you going to have rents below 60, like 30% AMI, 40, 50, or everything is going to be at the high end of the 60%?
This is a 60% AMI building.
Okay.
Again, that was part of the conversation. There's a lot of sensitivity around, and I understand that spectrum and that band of folks. The building that we're building in Woodlawn right now, Park Station, is the first building to meet the affordable ordinance that was passed by Woodlawn. And so in that building, we not only have market rate, but we have 30% and the range in between. So really the communities help us drive that conversation, trying to get to a number that it shows them a rent, like I said, $1,200, roughly, depending on the size of the unit, but it shows them that this is a unit that is not so deeply discounted that it brings families that already have options in that neighborhood elsewhere. They were very, very clear to us that we want to attract the working family, the professional. They need more of that to create a fabric in the neighborhood that's sustainable and that will actually allow the retail to change. If we believe in providing options for everyone in a neighborhood, and sometimes we forget that working family doesn't have a lot of options. We focus all of our energy on that very vulnerable population and not on that working family that has fewer options. And so this is a project, like I said, one building cannot solve every issue. And so you have to target it with 43 units, but we'll talk to you more. There's needs in the next phase, I'm saying. There's needs from seniors that we've heard from. There's needs from the artist community that would like to explore artist housing in a future phase. So we've heard from various segments. So it's an evolving conversation.
I appreciate that also because it goes along the same lines that I was talking about earlier in terms of no 3 bedrooms and nobody should be scared of that. At the same time that when we mention families, truly what you're talking about is young professionals, right? Because that.
Or older sometimes too.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Young or older professionals
Yeah.
that might have 1 child or maybe not, right? Because these units are smaller units, so they are serving a population that needs that kind of housing, and you need them to stay or come back
Right.
so they can do the shopping, go to the restaurant, right? I completely understand that, but I think sometimes we also go after the large units, we talk about families, and not necessarily. I think that we need to be more targeted with this kind of intervention so we are able to preserve another component that is important, because those are the ones that might have a little bit of disposable income, which is the people that you want to start to engine, you know, the local economy to produce the change. So then those people for the 3-bedroom condos, there's going to be a demand for that, right? Because they're going to see this area thriving, as you call yourself. In terms of the financing, I understand you have the 4%, but did I read something about the TIF?
So there's a stack, and I'll let, Yang D speak to whatever we can. We don't have anyone from DOH, because I know that evolves a little bit in terms of how the mix of funds are being provided here. 4% obviously doesn't cover the cost of construction.
Yep.
And so you do need additional support. Everything from home loans to, there's going to be TIF in this project.
Okay.
And other things. There's a piece of land that's also being contributed. So there's a mix of financing. It's called a layered cake.
Yeah. Very familiar.
That's going to be here. So, but yes, that's.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're introducing in a challenging area of South Shore and South Chicago, a project that probably for a strong advocates of affordable housing, which I think I am one of those, is not a traditional project, right? Because you're serving a different target that I believe also needs to be preserved to be part of the fabric of these communities.
I thank you for that comment, and it's a conversation that evolves. Yes,
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Commissioner Soto?
I had a question on the MBE and WBE participation and what that breakdown looks like in terms of your neighbors in the South Chicago community.
Hi, Leon Walker, Deal 3 again. You see the slide there. Obviously, those are the minimum requirements. We are, of course, this happens on several different fronts. Being a Black-owned development firm, as I say, one of the black swans in our city, and we are actively trying to encourage and increase that number. But it's professional services. We have obviously Coup Architecture, that's an MBE firm and woman-owned. There are several others on the professional services side, and it's also a broader conversation. You heard Sylvia speak, but Graham Grady is a partner at TAF. So for us, the conversation around MBE goes beyond construction, which is where we've landed it, for most of all of our sort of work in this neighborhood over the past 30 years. And so it's a broader conversation for us, but in terms of specifically on the construction, we will exceed these numbers. We've done so on every project that we have been involved with. And we have some aspirational goals, but of course, in terms of this very formal proceeding, we're going to talk about exceeding the minimums. And that's something that's also very important to Alderman Greg Mitchell. When you talk about local engagement, that is something that's been stressed with all of the contractors that were in the bidding and running for this project. But there are some realities around union membership and how do you do that? So not only are we focusing on the overall numbers, but also on how do you get more vendors, more subcontractors who are MBEs engaged in the project. And then as you come to the next level to the actual workers, that's a union issue because there's very few of the opportunities outside of the union, but it's a push on every front And I want to also just highlight professional services as an important one too.
But how are you specifically engaging the Latino community, which is a neighbor, like, right across the street on this project? Because you're basically representing two communities on this project.
Yeah.
The South Shore community and the South Chicago community. And I'm also a resident of the South Shore community. This is great, this is fantastic, but how are we bridging that relationship with South Chicago?
So it's a nuanced answer has to be given only because 79th Street is that dividing line, as you know. And so you're right on that dividing line, and there's strong advocates on both sides of that dividing line. For us, we don't see that as a dividing line. We see it as a unifying opportunity. And we have, of course, have support and have engaged several of the organizations that are south of 79th Street. One of the things, just to give you a little bit more context, we believe there needs to be an entity, and we're following the alderman's lead on this, that is focused on 79th Street. 79th Street is the longest retail street in our city, actually. And it just doesn't, having organizations that are focused more north or even further south doesn't really give the justice that's needed for this immediate intersection and the corridor. So there is discussions, and there's an entity that's being formed that will be a convener of all of those kind of conversations. We are just a participant in most of that work, but I don't see, we look at it more not only as a ward, but within, let's say, a mile or two of the project, what are the opportunities for all of those individuals that are qualified and able to work?
Just a recommendation, reach out to Hacia. I know that they'll be able to assist, and there are actually a lot of Hispanic union companies that are located in the South Chicago community.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Soto. Commissioner Tillman?
I want to first start by echoing some of the sentiments that have been shared, and thank you for considering a beautiful intervention, and really thinking of a project that could be anywhere within our city, but selecting this community to have this kind of intervention. But when we think about, as Commissioner Brumfield was talking about, the public realm, and hearing you talking about the outreach that this building will have for the neighborhood and community, considering that retail as well, and understanding kind of the market of how things are right now, what is your consideration of what that retail could be? And if it hasn't been determined yet, what is the thought for, how to make sure that that frontage, remains something that is active?
Thank you. Yeah, it starts with, a corridor approach in our mind. We're looking at, that's the difference with DL3, is that, most developers come with the mindset of just the four walls of the building. Our mindset is, at least, an area of several blocks, a corridor. We're looking for transformational work here. And so we've already begun a process with the Star Plaza Center that's across the street to understand what are the opportunities to lift that up. And the reason I bring that is because the retailers we all want to see, and the aspirational brands that we love to see a part of it, a part of any development, they tend to move in lockstep. And so we have to create an environment that allows them to see this as an opportunity. Now, the metro station is great. That's a great opportunity to create more activity. And so the numbers of the people and the changing demos will help attract different retailers that can be successful here. I will also say that we have a real intent and focus on local retailers, vendors, shops, and we have intentionally priced the ground floor of this building so that it would be attainable and reachable by that local population. But in general, I think that, you know, locals can provide some opportunities, but they can't take up all of the retail on any strip. And we need to continue to push for some diversity in the retail environment.
Commissioner Escareno?
But I'll make this very brief. I think what's really interesting and exciting about this project, in addition to 100% affordable, it's a beautiful building, is I think what you're talking about, really building strong communities and just from the commercial standpoint, how do we activate communities is about the people that live in them. So really diversifying the community through a project like this, and you're talking about making sure professionals not only stay, but maybe continue to come, and having a very mixed community here and allowing for professionals to live and help those communities thrive. What's interesting to me about this, in addition to everything that's been said, is that it's literally a couple of blocks from the city's gem, which is our lakefront. Right. And when you look at the Mag Mile and the prices of where people live closest to the lake, as we go south and really take advantage of the beautiful natural amenities, which is Rainbow Park. You also have Steelworkers Park. You have so many beautiful opportunities to really grow strong communities. So I commend you and the alderman really for thinking about how are we really starting to make a dent in building these communities to be strong and thriving, thinking about activating those commercial corridors, but really bringing the people that are going to be able to support that growth. So just holistically, and even if you look at the map, literally just 2 to 3 blocks from what is, and this is how we should think about it, right? We should think about that lakefront as a great amenity to those communities, as an attraction to build strong communities. So beautiful project, and thank you for thinking more holistically about the entire uplifting of this community.
Thank you. I don't think I could say it any better. So really appreciate those comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the commissioners? And I don't think Alderman Mitchell was able to attend, but he did leave a letter of support for the project, and he has asked us to read it, the record. So I will do that. I am writing to express my support for Thrive Exchange LLC's proposed development within the above referenced subject property. This project involves the construction of 2 mixed-use affordable housing buildings in a 2-phase development. The first building, Thrive Exchange South, will feature a 6-story mixed-use affordable housing building with retail and office spaces on the first floor and 43 affordable dwelling units on the upper floors. Thrive Exchange North, the second phase of this development, will follow a similar model with reduced parking ratios in consideration of the site's transit accessibility. Additionally, the project will offer homeownership and credit repair counseling through Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, allowing renting families the opportunity to become homeowners in the local community. This development is aligned with the Invest Southwest initiative and aims to revitalize the neighborhood. This project will bring affordable housing options to working families and contribute to the revitalization of South Shore and South Chicago. I believe this development will be a valuable addition to our community, and I support the applicant's proposed PD application. Thank you. So with that, I think, I just want to say I'm also very excited to see this. I personally know how hard it is to move forward all these very ambitious Invest Southwest projects. And just listening to you gives us all hope that we will get them, running and under construction. And there's going to be such a mix of projects that we're all going to feel proud and in a few years, hopefully built and running and having this vision that will all come together for the city. So thank you for that. Any additional comments? No? Okay. Commissioner Lyons?
Well, no, I really appreciate everything in the presentation and your thoughtfulness about the community process too. And just want to say, I'm particularly excited, the Metro line, the location there, thinking about, the connection to high quality jobs in the McCormick Place area and further downtown, for all folks. So, congratulations on a great project so far. Thank you.
Okay, so I will go ahead and ask for a motion on this project. Do I have a motion on a proposed residential business plan development submitted by the applicant, Thrive Exchange LLC, for the property located at 7901-11 South Exchange Avenue, 2933-41 East 79th Street, 7850-72 South Exchange Avenue, 2908-30 East 79th Street, 7839-45 South Escanaba Avenue, finding that it meets the requirements for approval. Motion by Commissioner Tillman, second by Commissioner Dowell. Roll call vote. Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield? Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Escareño? Thank you. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner La Espada?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Soto? Thank you. Commissioner Tillman?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, there are no informational presentations this month. So that means, this concludes this month's meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Piñeiro. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Reyes, roll call vote. Carney? Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Dowell? Commissioner Escareño? I think yeah. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner La Espada?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Commissioner Soto?
Yes.
Commissioner Tillman? Yes. Thank you. We get to go home. This month's meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission is adjourned at 11:40. That was, no, yeah, we get to go to lunch too.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Thank God. Thank you.
You were so good. I almost cried again.
I cried a little bit.
You did?
I did.
I'm so proud of you.
I
see baby.
But I would thank you for all your fun. If you were picking up my phone calls at whatever time, it was not gonna get there. I appreciate it.
Because she watched like her first job, Walter Payton.
Oh.
That was the last time she was probably at plant. And in person. Now it's I was so proud.